Hey, how's everyone doing? Welcome to the fourth episode of the Duke Pod, where we talk about real estate stories. And we have some good stories for you guys today. It is now August the 20th, actually. Summer is coming to a close slowly. Maybe if you're listening to the podcast, maybe just pretend that there's still a lot to go. I'm hoping that it's one of those summers where September is also really great. So like you can still take your kids to the splash pads if they're open and whatever beaches and stuff like that, and maybe still sneak into camping or something like that. If you're like us though, where Monday morning I walk my son to daycare, and then as soon as I walk back, maybe at like 9 in the morning, my wife says, "Ow, ow, ow!" She being 9 months pregnant, we knew we have to go to the hospital. And at around 11 o'clock, our baby girl was born. And welcome to the world, Zoey Lily Hajduk. We are super excited to have her. It is crazy to go from one child to two children, or even, boom, everyone, the days come, and all of a sudden, boom, now you have another child in your hands. To be honest, everyone is nice and healthy. It went really smooth. I was really shocked. It is what they say with the second baby, that it could come really fast. And honestly, maybe we took like 15 minutes to get a couple things, put him in the car, go to the hospital. Once she was at the hospital, the doctors were like, yep, she's having this baby. Like, she's like pretty much all the way there when it comes to how ready she was down there, let's call it. And honestly, an hour and a half later, boom, the baby came. So if in case you guys are friends with cats or love cats, my cat jumped in here, so she might be meowing a couple times here and there. But honestly, the fact that I had a baby 3 days ago and I'm still doing a podcast episode today, I'm gonna have to just use my time wisely. And just for saying that I have the time to do a 20-30 minute episode, which is gonna be all about children, because it's gonna be all about real estate and children. Since I had a new baby, everyone's doing well. I got a little bit of time. They're currently all sleeping. My wife's sleeping, baby's sleeping. That's okay. And she's not crying very loudly. So I think it is what they say with the second child. They come quick. It's a girl. First one was a boy. It's just really cute how often he wants to touch her hair and kiss her and stuff like that. But the fact that she's a girl has really skewed our opinion, because our first one, I wouldn't say it was terrible, but it was a lot more challenging than the first 3 days currently I'm envisioning, as he was crying a lot more. I remember the baby came in the evening, we were like up all night. Sure, we got a couple hours sleep here or there, but it was like a rough night. This one was like, it came out at like 11, and 12:30, baby was like passed out till like 2:30. I'm just like, what should I be doing right now? Like, my wife's resting, baby's sleeping. Should I like start like calling clients and touching base with them? And, obviously I updated everyone about the baby status, mommy's status, and sure enough, yeah, that the fact that she's sleeping well is continuing. We're definitely feeding her a lot. Now that it's the third day, I would say the second day, my wife was able to get the proper amount of nourishment for the baby in terms of nursing. It's as it comes after a couple days, 2-3 days. So now everything's good. Things are stable at home. I'm the one that has to wake up with our son every morning now and make sure he goes to daycare on time, and we have some fun with him and help put him to bed whenever I don't have appointments, which obviously I'm trying to minimize appointments the first week or two. But you do what you can, right? So today we're going to touch base on a very special topic. Since I have a brand new baby, I am a father of two. As my neighbor put it, we have $1 million family, meaning somehow I need to make $1 million to pay for these kids. We're going to touch base on the some of the recent and some of the past stories with children that I want to bring up. So our first story here, I'm not going to try to make the stories too long each, but let's see how it goes. Our first story is actually very recent. In fact, from last week. So I had a client here in the Milton area. Him and his wife are looking to buy a new home, and they have a 3-year-old named Ishan, I think I could say his name. But basically what you need to know is that obviously with COVID, they were really afraid to go and see homes. And a couple months ago, he's like, "Hey, can I see this home?" So we went in, we saw the home, but only he came. His wife didn't come. And if you have to put it in perspective, they're both working at home, and they have to be on the computer all day long. And their 3-year-old is super active, and they take turns taking care of him. But sometimes they just have to put the TV on. So like these people, like they need a break when it comes to their child, right? He doesn't go to daycare yet. So I told the client, "Hey, you got to come with your wife." And one of the things you guys should know from this story is that whenever you're looking at property, if you have a partner, so you and your wife or whatever, whoever that partner is, you're both going to be buying the home, make sure you guys come at the same time. There's no more challenging method of looking at homes when you're both the decision makers or you have to agree on something than going at separate times, because you don't get to have those conversations. You don't know what objections your partner might have, and it's going to be extremely hard to buy a home. So we have to find a way for these clients to both come at the same time. And in fact, once they both came at the same time, I realized how slow they like to go through the home, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you want to take 45 minutes to go through a home, like talk about every single room, every single crook, you should, because you're buying a large asset of your life. So I told the client, bring your child, I'll play with them in the back. I have a 3-year-old. Now, of course, he knows me, but he doesn't know me that well. So I totally understand that it takes a little bit slow to warm up kind of idea to let somebody that you don't know that well just like play with your children, especially post COVID. But finally they brought him a couple weeks ago, and Ishan and I are like this. We're going through all the rooms. I'm telling him about the colors. I say we're playing I Spy. We're walking upstairs, downstairs, and the parents love it. They literally, that's their only break from their son, and they love to go through the whole house. There's no way you can go through the house peacefully with a 3-year-old running, grabbing stuff, like jumping off stuff. And because I'm there and I'm good with kids. Like I'm fine with kids. Like I'm a dad. I know how it is to play with a 3-year-old. Trust me, we do the most random stuff, the most fun stuff, bike riding, playing hockey on the street, whatever, like just making funny faces, blowing each other as tummies. Like obviously I'm not doing that with their child, but the fact that we can just go together with the child and just make it entertaining for like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, sure. For me it's a little bit more work obviously than just standing around talking about features of the house, but I try to mix it up with talking about features of the house and letting the parents go through the house. I can see that they love the break. Now they get a real opportunity to talk about the home. They can see the home together and then make an executive decision. Now they haven't bought a house yet. They put an offer, it didn't go through. That's part of the process. Sometimes when you're buying a house in a more, I would say, active market, which the Toronto real estate market generally is. This is, of course, Milton. You're going to lose your first offer just because you don't know the nuances of it, or you may not be ready to put the kind of money down that requires the home to win. Now, of course, they are approved for a little bit more than what we're going for, so I think for sure they'll get a good home. But now that they're looking at the home, the two of them, stress-free, they understand I can take care of their son. I mean, we're talking about like 10-15 minutes while showing the house, right? Like it's okay if he goes to his parents, but he's taking it really well. Like he's smiling, he's laughing, we're doing fun stuff, we're talking about different colors of the home, and therefore the parents can finally look at the home. So there's your first story with children. Let's talk about our second story, which is kind of very similar, except for the baby was much smaller because it's a baby, it's not a 3-year-old. So we're talking about actually a good friend of mine and his wife. I know them very, very well, one of my best friends, and they've successfully sold their condo in Mississauga, and they moving to really walking distance away from me. So this is like the best case scenario. It's like Christmas all over again, to have one of your best friends move within walking distance, where they have kids, we have kids, and my daughter and their daughter will only be like 6 months apart. So like pretty likely chance that they'll be friends. Like, I don't see why not. Like, kids tend to play with each other no matter what. Even if they're not like best friends, they'll still play with each other, whether they'll fight for a toy or whatever. So here's how the story goes. So while we were looking for homes, um, it's kind of a hassle to carry your 6 month old around the house, or up steps, down steps, and everything. So I proposed to them that because she's sitting, and she doesn't really, every time I hold her, she didn't like cry or anything. So the temperament is good. And I said, why don't you just put her on the couch, or living room, or give her to me, and you guys go upstairs and look at the upstairs. You guys go downstairs, look at the downstairs. When you're done, then then we'll leave, right? And that became kind of a funny thing. Obviously, we didn't end up looking at like 100 homes. I think maybe we looked at like 10 to 15 homes before they found the one they really wanted, and we got it. But it was great. Like, I really enjoyed myself. Like, I'm holding the baby, she's smiling, we're just like, she's 6 months, she's grabbing my fingers, and that's entertaining enough for like 10 minutes with a 6 month old, and making a couple funny faces, peekaboos, great. And to be honest, like, obviously these are my friends, but like, how often do you get so much time with your friend's newborn? Like, very rarely, right? And she's not a newborn per se, but she's a baby. But you don't get, normally you visit friends like once a month or twice a month maybe. And because we hung out so much, like, I got to hold their baby like maybe like for a full week basically. And like, I feel like we have like a pretty good connection now. Like, I feel like, yeah, like I could hold her, she's not gonna cry. And it's nice. It's just nice to be able to hang out with your friends, and then their babies getting accustomed to you. It feels like you're just part of the family, right? Like how it should be, like the old days where people would just hang out all the time, and there wasn't any TV, or maybe there was some TV but no phones, and there's just limited distractions. So hanging out with your families, your friends and kids was just a thing to do. And that's kind of what it felt like. Even though we were buying them property, at least I gave them a chance to go through the house, see the house, relax, not have to worry, because she never cried one time with me, which I'm not bragging, but obviously, as long as she's not getting hurt and she's not crying, then parents could just relax, right? I think that's really nice, right? Because if I wasn't able to do that, I think their experience would be still fine, but like, you do what you can to go the extra mile, right? Some clients require very little. Some clients require white glove service. They need to be your hand held the whole way. I'm not saying any of these clients were like that, but whatever the service falls, you got to be adaptable and do your best. And I feel good that I'm just a family person, that I can provide some of these. And, I don't think that's always necessary. That's like, if you're hiring a professional realtor to do a job for you, you're not like, hey, can you hold my baby at the same time? But man, if you see your clients, it would make a big difference when showing them properties. That's going to go a long way for, one is getting to know your clients a little bit better, getting a chance to hang out with their family a little bit more intimately, but at the same time, giving them a break, letting them look at the home, make a really solid decision, and just relax, right? I mean, whatever you can do, why not, right? Like, life is short. Like, be happy, have fun, and let your clients enjoy their moment as well, right? So there's two kind of short stories. Let's talk about three other like quick stories that I really enjoyed. Now this next one is not a great story per se, but it's similar to the first two in a way that I was looking after the kids. So I was with these clients years ago, I think like 3-4 years ago, and what we would do sometimes I'd open the door and just sit in their car while their kids were sleeping, and they'd look at the home. Now of course I think you should be in the home, but like, let's be realistic, guys. Your kids are sleeping. What are you going to do? You're not going to wake them up, right? I mean, you could, but I don't think you want to wake up babies and kids. I think that's like a golden rule, right? Don't wake up your baby unless a sleeping baby. And I think they had like a really young one, and then like, a 1.5-year-old, like just back to back. So good for them. I think they got 3 kids now, so their family's doing great. So we did this, everything's good. They ended up buying a house. But one day in particular, I was sitting in the passenger seat of their car, and it's a standard, and the kids are sleeping, everything's quiet. And the driveway was up a bit of a ramp, like it was slanted, maybe on a 75, 60-degree angle, if I had to guess. And I realized that they had put the car in park or something, but not the e-brake on. So very slowly, as I'm sitting in the car there in the house, the car started rolling backward, like very slowly. You know, I'm not doing anything. Maybe I'm looking at my phone, or I'm like, okay, everyone's quiet. Nothing to do. And I just start feeling the car move backward. That scared me so much. I jumped immediately into the driver's seat. Maybe the car went back like 10 feet in total before I was able to stop it. So thank God, of course, there's no one walking behind us or anything like that. But oh my goodness, that was a scary situation. So maybe in hindsight, we could have just taken the car seats and put them in the house. Or, of course, maybe let me sit in the driver's seat. That one I think is a little less of an ideal situation, because normally as a realtor, should be inside the house, talk about the house, whatever. But, do what you can for your clients again, the same topic. So that was kind of a bit of a scary situation. Now let's go to a funny situation. Now this is just a personal story, and let's call it a joke, because at the end of the day, this isn't anything professional. I'm not gonna wow you guys with some wisdom, but a few years ago, I was showing a grandmother. She was looking to buy. She's a brand new grandmother, so a woman client, and her daughter came sometimes to look at the houses with us, and their 1-year-old came, right? And one time we were walking through the living room. And sometimes it happens, guys. We're human. But I passed some gas in the living room before they got there. I felt terrible. It just happened, one of those. But as soon as they smelt it, they're like, "Ooh, I think little baby needs to be changed." So the baby did not blow my cover. She took one for the team. I never said anything. But boy, did I laugh hard when they went up, to another room or something. So that's a passing gas story. It's just a joke. Can't say anything about being too professional there. But life happens, stuff happens. You gotta roll with the lemons, and you gotta laugh whenever you can, right? Last story I want to tell you guys is so it's gonna be regarding not so great situation that I was part of way back when. It was my first year in the business. And basically, I'm gonna tell the story another time, the whole story, because it is fantastic. So my first year of the business, I was part of a busy team, and there was a lot of action. Like, I had to deal with a lot of clients. I had to learn on the fly. I made a ton of mistakes in the first year. Trust me, I'll have a podcast episode where I'll tell you about all my worst mistakes, mostly in the first year. Yeah, of course, once in a while, you're human, you're going to make a mistake. It doesn't happen too often now, but in my first year, there was a house that I sold that was a hoarder house. There was garbage all over the place. Now, I'm not going to tell you guys too much about that story this time, because I want to share it, because it's a nice long story, full of intrigue and mystery, and what happened and how it came about, and all the way to the last minute of the sale was pretty interesting. The day it closed. But what I will tell you is that when I looked through the house the first time, okay, the lady was dressed really nicely when I met her. And then she invited me to her house, and I looked through the house, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like, there is stuff everywhere. And when I went to the basement, which there was, a foot of garbage everywhere, like literally everywhere. Imagine the basement's flooded, a foot high of water, but replace water with garbage all the way around. And there was a TV, like, kind of in the middle of the room, and her two kids, 14 and 16, I believe they were at the time, were playing video games on like a PS2 or 3 or whatever it was, and sitting on the garbage playing video games. Okay, I do not make this stuff up, guys. They were sitting on the garbage. Somehow I still sold that house. Anything's possible. So I want to tell you guys that full story another time. I realized that we're just over 20 minutes, and I probably will have to go and help out with the baby soon. So let this be a slightly shorter episode than other times. Kids in real estate, guys. Love your kids. If you gotta take them in so you guys can both go in, definitely do that. Do the best you can. Talk to your realtor about it if you're worried about it. With COVID-19 rules, kids don't need to wear a mask, but adults do at this time for the most part, just to come in the house. And you should feel safe. Other people are safe, so you do what you can. The market continues to be quite attractive. Lots of homes are going for a fair bit of money, and everything's doing great. So with that, I will leave it. Let's wish you guys a wonderful August, and I'll talk to you soon.